I know this isn't the usual way I record these videos, this vlog of mine, but I'm kind of doing this on the quick because, well, I'll try to do my best to get this out there, but just a quick video on an issue of particular importance. Now, I'm recording this video on the 20th of May, and in 2 days' time in my home country of Ireland, we are having a vote. And the vote is a proposed amendment to our constitution, which essentially will allow gay, lesbian, and transgender couples to marry. Now, basic translation: if two men want to get married, if this bill passes, they can. Likewise for women. Now, I clearly am voting yes on this matter, and I just wanted to put this out there to explain why. Now, I don't ever remember hearing from my mum and dad when I grew up about gay people. I heard of them. I knew they existed. It was kind of called the alternative lifestyle. I remember that phrase being bandied about. But gay people in large, I didn't really have any connection or didn't know anyone who was gay until I was in my early 20s, when a very dear friend of mine came out to me. Now, I don't there was never any kind of malice in me when he came out to me, because again, he's been my friend for over 20 years. It would be just so stupid and silly of me to just cast aside 20 years of friendship simply because the guy fancies men. But even preceding that, I don't ever remember any kind of prejudice towards them. I've never thought, ew, that's disgusting. Because I was raised what I would consider to be the best way possible by my mum and dad, which was choose, freedom of choice, and that expanded into all areas of life, including religion. I'm an atheist, but that's not what this is about, because I chose to be. I saw religion, didn't like what I saw, chose another path, and that it's the same with every other avenue in my life. My mum and dad trusted me, my brother, and my sisters enough for us to make our own choices. I'm sure if I grew up bigoted, hating gay people, my mum and dad, that would probably have upset them, but they wouldn't have, cast me out. But I didn't, because you can't really help who you love, though, can you, really? I can't imagine what it was like for my friend. Again, as I said, he's been my friend for over 20 years. I can't imagine what it must have been like for him to grow up having these feelings, these urges, and existing in a society that was telling him that it wasn't right. It wasn't natural to feel like that. It's for men to fancy other men. Apparently, society at large is more accepting of gay people now than they've been in the past. But it's still a touchy issue with some people. They don't like it. And thankfully, I'm not one of those people. Look, you love who you love. As long as it's love, that's all that matters. It's cliche to say love knows no boundaries or genders or anything. Love is love. It doesn't have a gender. It is what it is. And it saddens me that there are people who would deny gay people this essential right, which is all they want to do is marry the one they love. That's it. The no crowd keep dragging the concept of children into this matter. And they are an important factor of this issue, no doubt. But it's sad that they've dragged this into them. The no crowd were the first to mention children in this matter. Gay people didn't bring that up. They did. Because from what I understand, from what my limited understanding of the issue is, the way it's phrased in our Constitution is apparently mother, father, child. And what the no crowd are suggesting is that if we allow this change to this amendment, this change to the definition of marriage to occur, if two gay men or two gay women have a child, you would be there saying, oh, in the case of two gay men, oh, you're denying that child its fundamental right to have a mother, right? And so I suppose likewise for lesbians, if two women have a child, the no crowd would say, oh, you're denying that child its a fundamental right to have a father. You can't win either way. It seems to be two men they keep bringing up in this topic. Two men having a child. They don't really talk about two women. But you'd be screwed either way, because the Constitution apparently says you're entitled to a mum and a dad. Now let's look at that for a sec, right? A mother and a father. That is the ideal. That's what people prefer. That's what we're told in society is the ideal. That we should have a mom and a dad. And to a point, I do agree with that. Like, it's important to know your parents. It's important to know where you come from. But it's also important, the most important element, and this is not gender specific, gender is irrelevant to this point, is that what truly is most important and is really the crucial element here is that a child is raised with love. You know? I mean, and that's where, as I said earlier in this recording, where gender is irrelevant. Love doesn't have a gender. If two gay men have a child, and they love that child, and they help raise that child, teach it right from wrong, feed it, clothe it, it grows up to become its own person, and it too will go on to repeat the cycle. Find a partner, have children, and it'll just keep on going. It's how the species has been going up till now, from the caveman days to now. But as long as you raise the child in a loving environment, gender is irrelevant. I mean, throughout this debate, throughout this, the yes crowd saying their thing and the no crowd saying their thing, there's been many stories of how children of gay couples kind of feel discriminated against because they're essentially the law, this country does not recognize their family unit because they might have two dads or two mothers, and that's what's sad about it. It's sad that what the no crowd are essentially saying is to gay people, you are second-class citizens. Because gay people again have been discriminated against for so long, simply because they're doing what is natural to them. It's not a lifestyle they chose. No one chooses to be gay. Just as no one chooses to be. I didn't choose to be heterosexual. That's just the way it turned out. I was born this way. I didn't choose this. And a gay man, my buddy, 20 years, he didn't choose to be gay. He was always gay. That was just the way he was born. That's just the way things worked out for him. And the notion that you have the no crowd, banging on about children. There are gay people out there who probably don't want children. The very idea seems to bother them that two gay men or two gay women might have a child. And what are they afraid of? They're talking about how this will ruin the institution of marriage. Right? Statistics show that between 43 and 50% of traditional marriages end in divorce. Now, traditional marriage, I'm defining as man and woman. Because that's what they're saying. The no crowd saying traditional marriage is man and woman. But as I just said, between 43 and 50% of traditional marriages end in divorce. Okay? Now, to the best of my knowledge, since gay marriage has been legalized in certain countries, England now is the prime example, I don't hear of any. I wonder what is the divorce rate amongst the gay community? I haven't heard. The one case that comes to mind is Elton John. He married his husband, David Furnish. Still together as far as I know. And they have two children. Two lovely little boys. And there isn't a doubt in my mind those two little boys are loved. They're growing up in a loving house. Now, whether they know the woman who gave birth to them, I don't know. But as long as they're raised by two people who love them, they're going to grow up just fine. So this concern that the no crowd have about, you're depriving the child will not be deprived. Elton John and David Furnish, their two kids, do you honestly think they're going to be deprived of anything? They might not necessarily grow up with the silver spoon in their mouth and being handed cash on a daily basis. But as long as they're raised with the critical element, which is love, raised by loving two people who love each other and raised in a loving environment, then that should be irrelevant. It's irrelevant with the gender. I keep saying it, my apologies. But that's the crucial element here, because the no crowd keeps saying you need a mother, you need a father. No, you bloody don't. All you need is a loving environment and two people who love you. You know, I mean, they say, oh, it's in the Constitution. Well, let's look at that for a second. They're talking about how the ideal family situation is mother and father, right? Now, I've heard of instances where there's gay people who have children, like and stuff like that. What I'm wondering, I've not now to this date have heard of two gay men or two lesbians abusing their child, smacking them around, maybe sexually abusing them. I've not heard of that. All these stories that I've heard throughout my life about physical and sexual abuse, it's all heterosexual couples. Now, I bring that up because the reason I bring that up is because the no crowd are just touting how mother and father is the ideal. Not for everyone. For the abused child and for the bullied and picked on child who's bullied and picked on and abused by their own parents, that's not an ideal unit for them because they're being screwed over by the very people who should be loving and caring for them. So, I don't understand the fear of the no crowd. They're afraid, I mean, they're always afraid of change. People are. I mean, everyone's afraid of change because when things are good and we like things the way they are, we don't want to make any waves, we don't want to change anything. But that's progress. That's how things move forward. I mean, if we stayed still, if we stayed stagnant, nothing would be done and nothing would ever change. Women would still not be allowed to vote. Black people would still have to use different toilets. But things progressed, things changed, the law changed, it moved on. And that's what this is. Now, I'll be voting in 2 days from this recording on the gay marriage issue. And I will be, as I said, I'll be voting yes because I believe gay people have the fundamental human right to be treated as equals. Now, being gay was legalized, and I mean, even saying that is fucking weird. Being gay was legalized. Because it was illegal at one point. It wasn't against the law it's not been against the law for a long time. Gay people have been able to come out of the closet and say, yes, I am gay. This is who I am. But still, then they had civil partnerships, which was the first step. It was great when they brought in civil partnerships. That was the first step in all of this. But then comes the thorny issue of marriage. Because civil partnerships don't go far enough. They want to be treated like everyone else. They want to marry the person they love. I mean, again, I don't understand the problem with that. But you see, again, the no crowd keep bringing up the issue of kids, and they're the ones who brought children into this. The yes crowd never said a word. The yes crowd didn't really say anything in relation to children until the no crowd brought it up, because that's always the battle cry. Will someone think of the children? Well, yeah, think of the children. There are gay couples, as I said already, out there who have children and who want their family unit to be recognised as real and legal. Because at the moment it does not. So I hope that this thing passes. There's always the possibility that it won't. But I recently read in the newspaper there's been a massive, huge upsurge in young people registering to vote. Because that's what the yes crowd and even the no crowd have been pushing that point out there. Register to vote. Get out there and use your vote. Whether it be for yes or no, do it. And I'll end the video with this message. It was a conversation I had with my dad today, actually. And it's this. Don't be complacent. If you're watching this video, feel free to spread the link. I'll try to upload it tonight, but don't be complacent. Because people might think that, oh, geez, this thing's a shoo-in. Of course it's going to pass. There's so much support. Why not? They deserve the right to marry. It'll be easy. And some of them might not use their vote. They might not vote because they think this thing's a shoo-in. They don't need my vote. Well, they fucking do. Because it's your vote, and I'm pointing, it's your vote that could decide this. Because, people have fought for a long time for the right to vote. Women had to fight extra fucking hard because men have been in control for a long time. But women got their right to vote. Everyone has the right and should. Because if you don't vote on this and it's turned down, you might be going, oh, Jesus Christ, this should have passed. Well, maybe if you had voted, it would have. And people sometimes think, sure, my vote don't count, it's only one. But there's a lot of other people out there like that who think the exact same thing. And that's the problem. There should be no complacency with this issue. Whether you are going to vote yes or whether you're going to vote no, use your vote. Don't ever be complacent and think, well, whether it's yes or no, that this is going to be an easy issue. It's not. This is actually going to be a tight, in my belief, this is going to be a tight issue, I think. It's not going to be a slam dunk for the yes crowd. It's going to be tough because we're talking about making not even a change. Marriage will still be marriage. We're just going to allow this other section of society to enjoy this great institution that I hope to someday enjoy myself. And I hope to be at my friend's wedding someday when he's getting married to the man he loves. I want him to have that right. Now, someone might see this video, might disagree with me. And you know what, again, to each their own, I'm not going to try to persuade you to see my point of view. But what I will say is if there's someone out there, be it yes or no, who is either not sure about which way to go or is complacent, might think, well, it'll be an easy vote. It ain't going to be an easy vote, and your vote is needed. Whether you're going to say yes or no, your vote is essential. Because this is a big deal. This is the first time. I'm 35. I first voted when I was 19. This is the first time I voted on something that really, I feel nervous about it, and I really feel this is important. Because, as I said, I want my buddy to be able to get married. And who knows, I might meet other gay friends in the future. I might have gay relatives. And if I do, I would like them to have that option. I would like everyone to have that option. Gay or straight, transgender, it's irrelevant. Everyone should have the right to be with the one they love. And I hope in 2 days they do. So I'll just end with this. Whether you decide to vote yes or decide to vote no, important thing is just vote. Okay? Do what you feel is right. Make sure your vote is used. I hope you vote yes. But if you vote no, the point is you're taking part in the process. And you will be responsible for the outcome. Okay? So, that went on for longer than I expected. So I'll just say thank you and good night.